Herman Schulte Kellinghaus. Managed that okay. He's from Eutelsat, and we're going to be talking about digital signage, I think, which is always good. Thank you very much.
Yeah, before I'm going into, let's say, the digital signage topic in itself, I just want to spend a few words about Eutelsat Broadband. We are on the market now for a few years with our KSAT satellite, which of course offers a lot of, let's say, more capacity than you ever would have imagined in the past. Actually, you can say we are a sort of a telco operator, or we are a telco operator. A special one, but we are one. And that means effectively our business is telco as well. So we are, let's say, having ISPs as a partner. We started our business with consumer customers, so we have a lot of consumer customers on our satellite. We developed a few years ago our enterprise portfolio, the B2B products we are having. And in course of this, let's say, launch of B2B products, we entered into, let's say, a new world as a satellite operator, of course. That means we are currently suddenly having enterprise customers we would never have imagined to have. So that means we are today surfing nuclear power plants, we are surfing companies like retail companies, surfing backup solutions, etc. And that brought us even further in the development, and nowadays we are more and more working with companies which are system integrators. So as similar to a telco, we have system integrators working with us to deliver solutions to end customers. So it's not anymore about just selling the satellite capacity, it's more about selling solutions together with somebody else, which is, let's say, an expert in that specific market. So when I present something about digital signage, it's not about that we have the expertise to be a digital signage provider. We are the enabler for those which are in that market. Okay, so when we talk about digital signage, you know, first of all, there is, let's say, more and more demanding from the retail industry in the type of, let's say, attraction to be given to the end customers. You know, people visiting shops, going around, let's say, an airport, etc. So the service has to be attractive, of course. Yeah. So it's not good enough to have, let's say, some text on the screen. So it has to be really HD video or HD, let's say, pictures and these kind of things. People also expect some interactivity possibilities. So that means you have something on the screen and they want to sort of say, select something, getting more information, turning back information to, let's say, the provider, which is, let's say, doing advertising, for example. Signage has to be more individual. Yeah, so it's more targeted advertising, let's say, slimming down the people you want to address, and that has to be considered as well. We have also, let's say, seeing that real-time content delivery is an important element. So, you know, shops are becoming more and more, let's say, sophisticated. Prices have to be adapted all the time. And even, let's say, if you do advertising, it has to be, let's say, maybe changing over day and attracting people. Shops are also, let's say, going more into, let's say, when we talk about intelligence, so it's more customer profiling is an important element. So finding out what type of customers are visiting a certain shop, etc. Cross-media, that is, so to say, something, you know, people are like to use their mobile phone as well in the shop. Yeah, and that means effectively that topics like in-shop Wi-Fi is becoming really attractive, because then as a shop owner, you get people on the Wi-Fi, and then, so to say, you place on that, let's say, front end, your own shop in some way and place products, etc., etc. So it can become very, let's say, exciting for the shop owners to have this type of solutions. And finally, it has to be simple. And that is a topic where the satellite also, let's say, plays a very important role, or can play an important role, because deployment of these type of solutions is becoming more and more complex. We just had I had a meeting last week with a gas station company. So all these gas stations around the country. And if you ask them, okay, what type of WAN connectivity do you have? They have a wide variety. So they start with an ISDN connection, then they have some DSL line, and finally here and there some fiber. So now you come around and you would like to deploy the same solution all around the place. Oh, that's a bit difficult. Yeah. So the satellite is something unique, unified all over the place. All right, so that brings me to the conclusion that an HTS satellite is, let's say, some kind of a toolbox which does it all. Maybe a very strong statement at this point of time here. But generally speaking, what we offer with HTS satellite is, let's say, a broadband IP connectivity. So that can be, let's say, best effort or dedicated. So we have that flexibility. TCP/IP or UDP type of traffic. We also offer a multicast service. So that means if you would like to deliver content to many places at the same time, you can do that. Very important for digital signage, for example. And what we also do is we have some kind of a combi solution with, let's say, DVB KU band standard solution. So it means on one side you deliver content on a satellite KU band, and at the same time you have Ka band aside it to have, let's say, the two-way communication managed. The good thing is that the satellite dish in itself can be completely kept independent from the rest of the infrastructure. So if a digital signage provider comes on side of a, let's say, a retail market, they don't need to touch the IT infrastructure. And usually the IT managers of those companies likes that because they, so to say, get not disturbed by, let's say, the digital signage people. Yeah, it's an always-on solution. So we can always, let's say, touch the system. The idea is never go on site, just, let's say, manage the system from remote. And finally, and that's the biggest advantage of the satellite, is you can place it everywhere you want. Okay, just a rough overview how that looks like. So you have, let's say, the infotainment service provider, or let's say the digital signage service provider environment that goes over the satellite, and it finally ends up in the shop, where another box is placed, usually for managing the local appearance, so to say. And there you have, let's say, all sorts of options. You can have an in-shop radio type of thing, so easily to establish over satellite. But also, let's say, all the, let's say, nice pictures and displays you would expect from a digital signage solution. Okay, so I started my presentation with some kind of, let's say, where we go as Eutelsat, generally speaking. So we experience that we have to let's say, we have to adapt our offering more and more to what the vertical customers needs. So that means also this market is very special. So we also need to have a special offering for this. And that means effectively that our products are more and more B2B oriented. So our new B2B packages, for example, offer a pretty decent throughput, usually enough to transmit big data. We have some kind of a night transmission free of charge. So especially for digital signage, it's important that they have the data packages delivered overnight, and when the shop is opening at the day after, the content has been delivered. Then we have the option for a committed information rate. So that means when you have, for example, an in-shop radio service, you could, let's say, set a committed throughput so that you can always be assured that the radio content is properly delivered. And generally, you know, we have now really large volume data packages available. So these are the standard products. On the other side, we also have the option to serve a population. So if you have, let's say, hundreds of shops and you want to serve those hundreds of shops, then you could make use of the multicast option of the KESAT satellite, or you use, let's say, the KU band solution we are offering as well. And one advantage is also that we are offering one, let's say, tariff across all Europe. So if you're being, let's say, a multinational operation, you may have problems to get the same, let's say, tariff and solution established at each of the places. All right, good. Yeah, as a short summary, generally we can say digital signage deployment over an HTS satellite is simple and fast because you only place the satellite antenna on the roof, you get the cable down and you're done. So now, no, let's say, discussion with the internal IT department or with another telco, whatever. So that's very simple. The throughput of the satellite really allows, let's say, this type of service because it's big data, but we have a big pipe as well, so that's not a problem. Tariffs have been adapted to serve B2B customers. And even, let's say, the combination with KU band is, let's say, really or allow, let's say, the distribution to many sites at once. And finally, with KESAT, you're creating some kind of an independent network. So you manage your own network of satellite without buzzering what is around you. All right, that's all from my side. Okay. Thank you.
Herman, thank you very much indeed. Who's buying digital signage at the moment? You mentioned a garage. Is it the
gas stations.
Station. I mean this in plural. Sorry. Is it the big chains or the big retailers or maybe some independent advertising agency which then can reach lots of small or maybe mid-sized stores?
Yeah, usually, let's say, this type of solutions are delivered to, let's say, the retail industry by, let's say, digital signage experts. So these are
companies who are targeting that sector.
So these people are our partners. Yeah. So and those, let's say, partners are approaching the market. So it's some kind of somebody in between. Yeah. And then if you come to the end customers, you know, oil and gas stations. And they are naturally, let's say, a target because they are very widespread in the country. Yeah. Then we see a lot in the area of in-shop radio, because in-shop radio is a, let's say, is also some kind of independent services to, let's say, supermarket chains. Then we see a higher demand from car dealers, especially in rural countries like Turkey. So you have, let's say, car dealers around the place, and they, of course, would like to attract people because, you know, it's getting some more content out, and they are badly connected. Yeah. So that's how this market is evolving. Yeah. We started to get also, let's say, a lot of the big retailers on board. Not specifically for this solution initially, but for some kind of backup solutions. But long run, we believe that it will be topic. Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. Thank you very much indeed.
Okay.